Hey guys, Pastor Steve here, and we are on lesson 2 of our series called Game Plan. Today we're going to learn about how God led the children of Israel through the wilderness, through the desert, to the promised land. You know what? Sometimes it's hard because we don't know what to do or where to go. But God is our guide and God has a plan for us. We're going to learn about that today when Pastor Karina tells us the Bible story, and then Pastor Jason is going to give us the rest of the lesson today. So listen up.
You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know. You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know.
Hey kids, it's me, Callie from the Valley, and I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. Today, we're basically talking about how Jesus is the light of the world. So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them, Jesus will light my path every day. Oh my Lanta, is Jesus a light bulb? That's not right. Jesus isn't a light bulb, but he does shine bright in a totally dark world. It's dark because it's full of sin and evil and stuff. So we need Jesus to show us how to live in this dark world. So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them, Jesus will light my path every day. And that is what you gotta know. I'm Callie from the Valley saying TTYL. Grody, what you gotta know? Jesus will light my path every day.
Hi boys and girls, Pastor Karina here. Today's Bible story is found in Exodus 13. You may have heard of the story of Moses and the Israelites escaping Egypt and Pharaoh, and then crossing the Red Sea on dry land. It's pretty epic. However, there's a cool part of that story that happens between them escaping Egypt and them crossing the parted Red Sea. See, when the Israelites were freed from slavery in Egypt, they set off on a journey. They were leaving and headed to the Promised Land, a really awesome place God promised that he would take them to live. However, if they went the normal way that most people went to get there, they would have to go through enemy territory and end up battling the Philistines. God didn't want them to have to do that, so he came up with a better way to go. It was a long, winding route, and it led them through the wilderness or the desert. Moses was the leader of the Israelites, so he needed to know where to go. However, God hadn't told him the way yet. Moses and the Israelites were kind of lost and not sure where to go, but God wasn't going to leave them hanging. He had a really cool plan. You see, back then, they didn't have GPS, they didn't have Google Maps or Siri to tell them where to go. And God knew that. He decided to give them their own cool GPS. Instead of having Siri or some computer voice to tell them where to go, he provided them with a large pillar of cloud or smoke. It was awesome. The giant pillar of cloud led them through the wilderness, moving around, showing them where to go. It was a miracle. They had never seen anything like it. The Israelites followed it around, turn by turn, until the sun went down. Then God had another plan. Since they were fleeing Egypt, they needed to get as far as they could, as fast as they could. So they needed to do some traveling at night to save time. So God gave them a pillar of fire to light the way. No more darkness. The light was leading the way in the dark. On their own, the Israelites would have never have known where to go or what to do. They would have been helpless and alone, but God knew the way. He wanted to lead them, and he provided a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire of light to light their way in the dark. In your lesson today, you're going to learn that God does the same for you when you don't know what to do.
Grody, like, what you gotta know? Jesus will light my path every day.
Hey boys and girls, this is Pastor Jason, and I'm here with your Sunday lesson about no more darkness. Now you just heard Pastor Karina a little bit earlier talk about the Israelites in the wilderness. They were trapped. God was guiding them around the Philistines through the wilderness, and he used a lot of things. He used smoke, he used fire by night. It was an amazing story. But how does that apply to you thousands of years later? Let me tell you. So you guys know how sometimes you go on a road trip with your parents and they have their GPS or their phone on the dashboard and it's telling them where to go. Siri's telling them to go left, right, get on this freeway, get off on this exit. Well, they have guidance, they have GPS. But how easy do you think it'd be to travel if you didn't have that? If you didn't have a GPS or anything, you just started driving and hope for the best. Boys and girls, that's how life can be sometimes. That sometimes you don't have a direction, you don't have a map, a GPS of life. When you're born, they don't give you a phone that says, okay, this will tell you where to go to college, where to go to school, who to get married to, who you should be friends with. There's nothing like that. So what do? Well, boys and girls, we trust God to guide us in life no matter what. So our first point for our lesson is, at times, I'm not sure what to do. Now that may seem like a weird lesson point, but boys and girls, that's reality. Sometimes you just don't know what to do. As an adult, there's sometimes I don't even know what to do tomorrow, a year from now. But that's okay because we're humans and we live in a dark world. And there's nothing wrong with feeling lost, feeling alone, but you can always trust in God to show you what's next. So point number 2 is, I must remember I am not alone. So boys and girls, even when you feel like you're alone, when you don't know what to do, when life's getting hard, maybe the situation at home, someone's sick in your family, and you don't know what to do, always remember that God is with you and you're never alone. Even when your parents are asleep or you have no friends or you just feel like you're by yourself right now, God is always with you to show you where to go. He'll never leave you nor forsake you. So no matter what, you must remember you are not alone. And our third and final point is, God will lead me where he wants to take me. Now, boys and girls, wherever you're going in life, if you trust God, he will lead you where he wants to take you. Now, he has promises, he has blessings for you, and he wants to take you there, but you have to let him lead you. Now you can tell God, you know what, God, I'm going to go this way in my life. I really don't want to go to church anymore. I don't want to listen to my parents. You know what, I don't even want to go to school anymore. You know, God will say, okay, fine. I can't force you to do anything. But if you go different directions than what God has for you, life's not going to be so easy. You may find yourself in dead ends, some bad positions in your life. But if you trust God to lead you, he will take you where he wants to take you, and he'll take you to amazing promises, just like the promised land, the Israelites. God has a promised land for you, a great future. So boys and girls, remember our 3 points again. The first one is, at times, I'm not sure what to do. Our second point, I must remember I am not alone. And our third and final point, God will lead me where he wants to take me. So boys and girls, that's our lesson for No More Darkness. I can't wait to see you next Sunday. We'll see you.
Wasn't that a great lesson from Pastor Jason? You know, we need to remember that God is with us no matter what. Sometimes we're not sure what to do, but we gotta remember that we're not alone. God will lead us where he wants to take us, and God has an amazing plan for our lives. Don't forget that, kids, because God's plan is always the best plan. I will see you next week.